I'm Anna, or Anna G Writes and Reads on all platforms, and today we're going to talk about the March Readathon. This is a little bit different because, again, I had already planned on making the March 24th to March 26th weekend my Readathon, but I saw on Book Talk that from the 20th to the 27th, quite a few of my mutuals and other creators were doing the Trans Rights Readathon. This was super exciting for me because before switching careers quite a bit, I taught high school social studies for 3.5 years, and I had a lot of students come to me with gender identity issues and talking about their hardships, and I always really liked interacting with students and helping them try to figure out what's going on, helping them feel accepted, getting them the right resources, being an advocate for them in the classroom. And I've really missed that part, and I constantly think of my students and hope they're okay, even though I haven't taught them in a little while. So this Trans Rights Readathon, I feel like, gives me an opportunity to really connect back with some of the students who I remember so fondly. Instead of just doing a readathon over a weekend for how much time there is, I'm gonna take you with me as I go through the Trans Rights Readathon. I plan on reading quite a few books. The first being Freshwater by Akweke Emezi, then reading Too Bright to See by Kyle Lukoff, reading Pet by Akweke Emezi as well. That is going to be a buddy read through the app Fable with my friends Ella Reads. And we're also planning on buddy reading 2 other books this week, Felix Ever After and Cemetery Boys. I also might pick up a few books along the way just to kind of fill in the blanks depending on how fast I read everything. For every chapter that I read, I am donating $1 to the Trans Health Legal Fund, and we're gonna just see how much money I end up donating. You will see this the final day of my donations on the 28th once I figure out how many chapters I've read. So let's go. Okay, it is officially morning 1 of the Trans Rights Readathon. Yesterday, I listened to Freshwater by Akweke Emezi because I finished my NetGalley audiobook and I wanted to try to listen to that book early instead of trying to, listen to something else and then miss the official start of the Trans Rights Readathon. So I listened to all of that, and then I started listening to Too Bright to See by Kyle Lukoff, and I am only an hour and 45 minutes into Too Bright to See, which is more of like a middle grade book, but I still think it's going to be good to read for the Trans Rights Readathon. And now I am starting Pet by Akweke Emezi. I'm interested to see the difference between the 2 styles. Pet is rated higher on Goodreads than Freshwater is, so I feel like that'll be interesting to see. All right, it is lunchtime, and I am about 60% of the way through Pet, just because it's a pretty short book, and I am enjoying it more than Freshwater for sure. I feel like more aspects are explained, and I mean, not everything is explained at this point, but I feel like more is explained. It's just a little bit easier to grasp, at least for me, than Freshwater was, so happy to be doing that. I am using Fable to buddy read all of these, and I'm liking Fable so far. I'm interested to see what other people post on there. Of course, today is like a super busy day for work as well as the first day of the Trans Rights Readathon. I made my donation from my reads yesterday because I'm doing $1 per chapter that I read. I read 27 chapters yesterday, so we already made a $27 donation to the Trans Health Legal Fund, which is great. My workday is a little bit wackadoodle, so we're gonna see if we can finish Pet. And then I haven't asked my buddy reader what we're gonna do. I still have Too Bright to See as like a backup book to read during the in-between times when we don't start a new book, but then I might try to find other books on Libby to rent. I found one that was really interesting, but I don't know if the author is trans or not, but it still looks like a really interesting book and it looks like it has trans representation, but we'll just keep looking and potentially find other books to keep reading. But right now we are finished with 1 book in the middle of 2 for day 1 of the Trans Rights Readathon. All right, so Bear and I are on a walk, and I just finished Pet, and I'm going to keep listening to Too Bright to See. I did rent another book just to be prepared. Tomorrow, my friend Ella Reads and I are going to start Felix Ever After, and I'm really excited. I am excited to keep reading Too Bright to See. I don't know when I'm gonna finish that. I do have some editing I want to do tonight, and that's like the one time I can listen to an audiobook. We'll see how much further I can get with Too Bright to See today. Okay, we just got back from our walk. I got to, I think about 2 hours into Too Bright to See. I'm digging it so far. I think it's pretty interesting. And now we're gonna either edit for the rest of the night, just work on some stuff, or maybe we'll hop back into Too Bright to See. Today is the second day of the Trans Rights Readathon. Yesterday we finished Pet, which was 12 chapters, and I did listen to 3 chapters of Too Bright to See, so I will be making a $15 donation today. And then on Fable, we switched the book from Pet to Felix Ever After. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it today. I hope I do. That would be really good. I did, like I said yesterday, rent a backup book, so I have that, and I still have Too Bright to See, but I only have 2 hours left of Too Bright to See, so that's why I wanted to have another one since there's still quite a few days of the readathon. I did like Pet better than Freshwater. Both are written by a quick AMAZ. I just felt like Pet was more accessible, even though it still had that futuristic magical realism feel. I feel like I understood Pet better, so I would definitely listen to Bitter if I'm able to get that. But I'm really excited to read Felix Ever After today, and I have seen it everywhere on TikTok, so we'll see if it lives up to the hype. I really hope it does. We are about midway through day 2 of the readathon. I am about 3 hours into Felix Ever After. This is my favorite one so far. I would say, I feel like Pet is my second favorite. Too Bright to See would be tied with Pet, honestly. And then, yeah, Freshwater is my third. I am really enjoying listening to this one so far. What we're going to do now is I'm going to sort some rhinestones by color because I want to rhinestone something for a Taylor Swift outfit. That's what we're going to do during the readathon. Just sort these, listen to the book, and we'll see how much sorting I get done. I also have this bag too, so we're gonna have to see how well the colors match up. But they look like they're from the same designer, so I feel like the colors will be pretty similar. All right, I just got back from a walk with Bear, and I am still listening to Felix Ever After. I'm still really liking where it's going. I feel like there's a lot of twists and turns, I guess, a lot of complexities, and I'm interested to see where the rest of the book will go because I'm currently on chapter 18 and there's 25 chapters. However, when I get to this point, I feel like every month where I start to get tired of doing one thing over and over again. Right now, that's been just listening to audiobooks in general. Like, the book isn't bad, I'm interested, and I feel like the rest of my lineup is also books that pique my interest, that I want to get to, I want to finish, but I almost feel like I'm burnt out because there has been a lot of hours listened over the past 3 days. For right now, I'm gonna take a break. I don't know if I'm gonna listen anymore tonight, but if I do, then I'll definitely keep you posted. I wish I had a book that went with this readathon that I could physically read. I know I have Iron Widow, which would work, but I don't have the sequel, and I heard the cliffhanger is really, really terrible. So I really want to wait till the sequel comes out in May and then just binge read those over the weekend. I feel like this is a good reflection for next year to do a better job, that I need to get some physical books by some trans, non-binary, and genderqueer folks, because hopefully this readathon happens again next year. Okay, so it is night of day 2 of the Trans Rights Readathon. I was able to keep listening to the audiobook after a little break. I am on chapter 23 out of 25. I really liked this book. I think it gave me a lot to think about in terms of intersectionality, of different identities, how I really haven't been researching identity as much now that I'm not in the classroom. I do need to get back on that so I can stay up to date with everything, and I'll give you my final thoughts tomorrow for day 3, and I don't know what book I'm going to read after this. I still have to finish Too Bright to See, and then I have my other backup book, May the Best Man Win, so I have options, and we'll just keep moving forward. Okay, it is bright and early on day 3 of the Trans Rights Readathon. Yesterday, I read the 22 full chapters of Felix Ever After, so I'll be making a $22 donation at some point today. We're gonna switch up our routine that we've been doing lately because it's supposed to rain this afternoon, and I still really want to get Bear out for a walk, and we walk for about an hour, so I get an hour of audiobook listening in. So I plan on finishing Felix Ever After today, and I also plan on finishing Too Bright to See. My buddy reader actually got sick, so we're not going to start our third book, which is Cemetery Boys, until Thursday. So after I finish Felix Ever After and Too Bright to See, I do have May the Best Man Win as a backup. I am debating starting it today or not. We're just gonna kind of see what the vibes are. I feel like I do have a lot of editing to do. I do want to do short reviews for all of the books that I've read during the Trans Readathon, which after today will have been 4 books, so that'll take some time. you know, to make, to edit. I can't really do that while listening to an audiobook. I might actually pick up my physical book today, which has been Cruel Prince, which I am actually very interested in. There hasn't been a day that I've gone by when I get into bed and I'm like, oh man, I'm so tired, but I wish I would have read a little bit of Cruel Prince today. It definitely has my attention. Glad to keep reading these books. I have been liking both of them, and I'm excited for May the Best Man Win and Cemetery Boys because there's still so many days left. I want to try to find another book too. Maybe Bitter will come off of my whole list. I think The Passing Playbook is also on my hold list. I gotta look into that as well. So I just finished listening to Too Bright to See, and I finished Felix Ever After today. Those were such cute stories, but what really stood out to me was the end of Too Bright to See. The author's note talking about how you should speak about the main character. I thought that was so sweet, and I'm definitely going to take that to heart with my review that I'll make. And now I'm going to listen to May the Best Man Win by Z.R. Elor, and we're gonna start potentially bedazzling. I don't know, we're gonna see how it looks. Gonna start putting some stuff on my like backup outfit. We'll just keep listening and see. I am loving all the books so far. I'm glad I took a little bit of a break. I really haven't listened to that much today. And yeah, now I'm excited to like get crafty and listen to the audiobooks. Alrighty, it's the end of day 3 of the Trans Rights Readathon. I'm really liking May the Best Man Win. I am a couple of hours into it. I got very into my little craft project. Maybe I'll show you all where it's at by the end of this readathon, because I feel like just hot gluing rhinestones onto fabric is a very easy activity to do while listening to audiobooks, and all of my books for the Trans Rights Readathon are audiobooks. I'm super excited to start Cemetery Boys tomorrow. I feel like it'll be a very different vibe from May the Best Man Win. May the Best Man Win is set in high school. That was the same with Felix Ever After too. They're both set in high schools, but very different. Felix Ever After is in an art high school. May the Best Man Win is more your traditional high school where football's pretty big, everything like that. And then Cemetery Boys, I don't really know what Cemetery Boys is about, but I don't really know what any book is about before I read it. I should probably start doing more research. I feel like I say that every time though. I will keep you up to date where we are tomorrow. Alrighty, good morning. It is day 4 of the Trans Rights Readathon. Yesterday, like I said, finished some books, started another one, so we're making a donation of $23 today, and I'm really excited to start Cemetery Boys. I think this was the like most anticipated book on my TBR, and then I also did just rent another book because from what I've learned of rhinestoning my outfit, I feel like that's gonna take quite a bit of time, and I'll listen to an audiobook while I do that. So I did rent The Mirror Season. That seems a little bit more heavy of a topic than May the Best Man Win. So I'm excited to, again, like try to keep diversifying what I'm reading, and I will see if I need to rent another book or not. I am really excited to start Cemetery Boys, so that's what I'm gonna do now. I don't know when exactly my next check-in will be today because I have a lot of like kind of like little tasks that don't really require an audiobook that I have to do today. And then it's also kind of rainy, so I don't know if we're gonna go on our usual walk, but we'll see. We're at day 4 of the Trans Readathon. At the end of it, I really like Cemetery Boys right now. I was a little confused in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie. I was scared that the book was gonna be full of time hops, whatnot, because I feel like the first chapter, because of the world building that needs to be done to establish the match, I feel like I just had a hard time grasping it. And I don't know if it was because it was the audiobook version, like if I physically read it, maybe I could have comprehended it a little bit better. I would say after the first chapter, I was then really invested into Cemetery Boys. It is a longer book, so I've listened to about 6 to 7 hours of it, and if I keep that pace into tomorrow, then I will finish it. I didn't read any of May the Best Man Win today, didn't get to Mirror Season, but this is the last book that I'm buddy reading, so after this, then I think we're just each gonna kind of do our own thing, because then we would have read 3 books together during this readathon. This is my 5th book that I'm reading for the readathon. So overall, you know, about a book a day, which is definitely a faster pace for me, which is the whole point of a readathon, is trying to read more than that. I am working on my Taylor Swift outfit while I listen to this, so I'm not being the best buddy reader. I'll put a little picture up here. This is where my Taylor Swift outfit is right now. I am hand rhinestoning it, which is great to do, you know, while listening to an audiobook. We will see where we continue to go tomorrow. All right, it is the afternoon of day 5 of the Trans Rights Readathon. I just got swooped right into work and then really working on my Taylor Swift rhinestoning. So I forgot to film an update, but Now it's the afternoon and I have listened to quite a bit of Cemetery Boys, really enjoying it. Like I said, I still feel like there are probably things at the beginning of the book that because there was so much thrown at you, they're probably going to come back later in the book and I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't get that from the beginning of like the world building part of the book. But overall, I'm really liking it. I'm probably going to finish it today because my plan for the rest of the day is to finish up a little bit of work, go to Joann Fabrics to get more stuff for my costume, and then to walk the dog because apparently where I am for day 6 of the Trans Rights Readathon, so tomorrow, we're going to have like 8 inches of snow outside, even though it's going to be almost the end of March. I want to just grab a few quick things so that we for sure don't have to go anywhere tomorrow. Like I said, I'm really enjoying Cemetery Boys. I didn't realize this was the same author that wrote the Sunbearer Trials, and the Sunbearer Trials has been one that I really wanted to read, and it's fairly accessible through Libby now that I got a different library card. The wait is so much shorter. I'm excited that I do like his writing style and that I'll be able to hopefully get the Sunbearer Trials soon. I did pick up some books for the post-Trans Rights Readathon, but I am excited to, again, still have 2 more lined up, and I feel like that'll take me to the end of the Trans Rights Readathon, and if not, I'll do some research and hopefully find another one. Like I said, I still have Alex Gino's books as like a backup, but yeah, overall, we're doing pretty good. If we finish this book today, then I'll have read a book every day for the Trans Rights Readathon, and if I keep this pace, then I should have one read in theory for every day, which would be fantastic. And oh, I haven't done this yet, but I'll post the screenshot here. I'm making a donation of $12 because I got through 12 chapters of Cemetery Boys. It's like a 13-hour audiobook, so it's definitely longer. The chapters are longer. I think the first chapter was like 45 minutes, so I feel like I listened to quite a bit of it yesterday, but since I'm doing it based off of chapter, that's why the donation's a little bit lower than our average has been. But yeah, I'll check in with you later. Hopefully show you a little preview of my outfit. Alrighty, so we are at the end of day 5 of the Trans Rights Readathon. I've not done the best job of filming because I've just been, and I get this way sometimes where I'm just like so fixated on a project. It's like all I can think about and I can't really distract myself with anything else. And that's how it's going right now with my bejeweling. I didn't take any clips. I should take clips tomorrow. Did finish Cemetery Boys. Really liked it. I think I'm gonna give it like a 4.5 just because again, at the beginning I was really confused and maybe I wouldn't have been again if I had the physical book. I learned that the audiobook narrator is also trans and Latinx, and so that's really cool because then the representation is throughout the author, the book, and now the audiobook narrator. So that was really cool to learn because I listened to like the little author interview at the end. Now I'm going to move on to May the Best Man Win since I've already started that audiobook. I don't know if I'm going to listen to any more tonight, but I am excited to stay in the vein of like YA because I feel like that's my favorite place to be. And then I think the Mirror, I don't know if the Mirror season's YA or adult or whatnot, but I'm excited to then switch it up because this will be May the Best Man Win is the 3rd YA book in a row. Okay, so I just finished filming my update for day 6. I am, you know, a little late. It's a little later in the day. I'm back on track with reading May the Best Man Win. I'm really liking May the Best Man Win. However, there is a character in there that used the R word, but what I liked to see, because that was like a little stark to hear, but this is the very much like bigoted character. So I was like, okay, this is, you know, I'm not really sure how I feel about that because that word's pretty personal to me. But then the, like, one of the 2 main narrators of the books, because it's in first person, they then referred to the word as the R word. And I was like, oh, okay, like this, not everyone's just throwing it around. It's definitely this one character. So that was good. I am not doing pretty much anything else except working on my Taylor Swift costume today. Like I have a list of filming things, editing this video to go live on March 28th, but I am excited. I made my donation of $13 from yesterday, and overall I feel like this has been, you know, kind of like a step out of the perspectives that I've been reading. And so I really want to do a better job of balancing the kind of books that I read throughout the year. But yeah, now that I finished that update, I'm going to continue listening to May the Best Man Win. And I'm going to continue working on my Taylor Swift costume. We also have like, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches of snow outside. So it's a really good day to just stay in, focus on this little project. It's my rest day, just like overall exercising, life, whatnot. I am going to see how much I can listen to. I have about 7 hours left of May the Best Man Win, so I can finish it today if I don't get distracted by watching Taylor Swift TikTok concert clips. You know, I feel like I've done a really good job of trying to stay on track with the readathon, reading a lot of books. And yeah, now I'm going to continue working on my costume because that's the only thing that's like taking up space in my brain. We are at the end of day 6, and here are pictures of the outfit that I was working on. I love them. I am really excited to get more jewels over time and just finish everything up. I've done the majority of the work. I'm still going to continue to listen to audiobooks. I don't think I'm going to finish May the Best Man Win tonight, but I am pretty close. I am under the 3-hour mark, so that's good. I just don't think I'm going to stay up that late. And like I said, I'm just starting to get a little like fatigued from the amount of audiobooks because I can do this, you know, over a weekend, but since it's day 6 of just constantly listening, I'm just getting a little tired and like find myself needing more breaks. I don't know how much I'm going to listen to tomorrow of audiobooks in general, just because I have a lot of chores that I want to get done. Today was a really just huge rest day for me. Tomorrow's going to be a bit more work, so we'll see. I did get Bitter off of Loan on Libby, and I learned that the trans rights readathon, at least on Book Talk, is extending until March 31st. I want to be conscious of money. I don't think I'm going to continue donating after the agreed upon 27th. I am still going to read, you know, Bitter and any other of the trans books that come off of my TBR and, you know, try to continue that throughout the year. So I'm excited that it got extended. I just don't think financially I can keep up with it, but I am excited. I'm going to listen to a little bit more of the audiobook, and then we will catch up tomorrow for day 7. And then Monday is the final day, at least, that I'll be recording for this video. And again, participating monetarily because again, you know, just trying to be financially responsible. We will see how far I get with May the Best Man Win for the rest of tonight, and then hopefully finish it tomorrow and get to the mirror season. Okay, this is going to be the only update for day 7 of the Trans Rights Readathon because this morning started out with just a lot of work where I couldn't really listen to an audiobook, like editing this video, editing some other stuff. So I didn't actually start listening to the audiobook until my husband and I went grocery shopping, and I listened to my audiobook in the car. I did finish May the Best Man Win, and I really liked that one. I think that one for me, like I said, I just get really uncomfortable when there's the R word in books. So I feel like I understood why the author used it and everything. I'm not 100% sure what my rating is yet. I do know that it's one of the top books from this readathon though. I did really enjoy it. And then Curveball, started listening to the mirror season. Oh my goodness. Like, I am thoroughly enjoying it. And I feel like that's the best feeling from the jump that I've had about the book, like that I'm really invested in the characters and figuring out the story. And I've already listened to, I think, 2 hours of it, and I still feel that way. It's so weird because I don't think a book has made me feel that way in a while, where like I feel like a lot of my 5-star reads lately have been a little bit slower burns, but like from the jump, I just really like this book. I like the writing of it. I like the story. Definitely check the content warning for it, but I don't know, there's just something, it just makes me feel a certain type of way. And I just feel like a book hasn't truly made me feel like that from the first 2 chapters, right? Because I really liked Felix Ever After too, but there was like the world building the first few chapters, and in this one you just jump right in, and it's just a completely different feeling. So I'm really happy that I have that, and I know that the readathon is being extended until the 31st now, and I am not going to do like daily updates during that. I need to go to slower pace. I have quite a few responsibilities that I need to continue to do, so we'll see how much I continue to read tonight for the mirror season. I don't know how much it'll be. And then yeah, tomorrow is the last day, and then I'll do a little wrap up of how much I donated, and I think this has been really good. So I've read 6 books in the past 7 days, and I feel like the majority of those books have been great, so that's good. And I know what I'm going to keep reading after this, and I'm just really happy that this happened to stumble on my For You page and I get to read such diverse books. So yeah, let's see what the last official day tomorrow brings for my daily update. Happy last day of the Trans Rights Readathon. So we're coming to the end of this video. One thing that I haven't done in any of my videos that I usually do while listening to audiobooks is I do puzzles. You can see I have one of my tripods set up here because I usually do a time lapse on this phone. I am still really enjoying the mirror season. We just got to a little bit of a twist that I wasn't expecting, so I'm interested to see how the rest of the book goes. My plan is to puzzle the rest of the night while listening to it, and then the night will end just as I'm finishing it because that's how much time is left. I don't know why the mirror season resonates so much with me, but I'm really glad that it does, and I'm really glad that I'm reading it. I'm just going through the experience and really loving the story, even though it is a sad story, and the twist just made it even sadder. Now, like I said, we're in a puzzle. We'll record it from up above. You'll record it from down there, and I'll probably record up here longer than you'll see, but we'll do a little time lapse all together. And you might see my facial reaction to the mirror season, which there have been a lot of those lately.
Okay, so I just finished Mirror Season. I'm excited because I finished it on time, so tomorrow's just gonna be a wrap up of total donations. Mirror Season to me was the best book, and I feel like it's not usually a book that I would go for or like, but I listened to the author's note at the end, and based on the author's own experience, were sexually assaulted by the same person and how they're still going through the legal dealings with that case. I was like, wow, I think one of the reasons I was able to connect with this so well is just because it was so personal. Like, it was almost, I guess it was almost a memoir in a sense where like the general storyline is the same as what the author went through, but obviously it was also based off of the Snow Queen fairy tale. Had never heard of that. I'm definitely going to check that out. But yeah, I just thought it was really fantastic. I really thought it was a really amazing book. I don't know. I've just been sitting about here thinking about it for like the past 15 minutes. But I'm excited I finished it. So we've done 7 books over this past week. Hooray for us.
Happy wrap-up day for the Trans Rights Readathon. In total, I've donated $161, meaning I've read 161 chapters this past week. That feels like a big number to me, so I'm really proud of that. I have officially finished 7 books. The first book was Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. This I gave a 2 out of 5 stars. It just was very character-driven, spiritual, just not the book for me. However, every book after that has been a 4 or above starred reviewed book. So I feel like I had an overall pretty good average of books for the Trans Rights Readathon. The second book that I read was Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. This was a 4 out of 5 star. I felt like it was easily digestible compared to Freshwater, and I just really liked the story. I'm really excited to read Bitter at some point this week. The next book was Felix Ever After. This was my 5 out of 5 star book. Had everything I wanted in a YA book. Next was Too Bright to See. Too Bright to See was a 4 out of 5 star. I just felt like it was a little slow, and for being a juvenile fiction book, I thought it would just be a little faster paced. But I loved the message overall with Bug. I loved the dedication, the author's note, general storyline, general vibes. I greatly appreciated. The next book was Cemetery Boys. This was 4.5 out of 5 stars. The beginning, just a little confusing, but the rest of the story I thought was spectacular. Then we have May the Best Man Win. This was a 4 out of 5 star for me. There is a lot of representation in this book. I am not trans and I'm not autistic, and that is the majority of the representation in that book. I'm hoping the representation is accurate. Otherwise, the reason it lost a star for me was because it feels so grounded in reality, but then it gets a little fantastical at the end, and it was just a weird shift to have at the latter end of the book. Then lastly was The Mirror Season. This was a 5 out of 5 star read for me. Definitely heavy on sexual assault in this book, so be sure that you check that trigger warning and any other trigger warnings before picking that one up, but I would still highly recommend it if you can handle that. I have really loved this readathon. I feel like I've read a lot of books. 7 books essentially in a week is just a lot for me, but I am so happy to support the community, and I hope to do this again next year. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you're going to read any of these books based off this video, how your readathon went, and I am excited to continue reading diverse books throughout the year.